sports fans. Sorry for the delay, but today's Saturday. You know what time it is. Time for the Dirt and Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Tyler. Welcome. And joining me is Cat and Cobra. How we doing today? Wow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little tired this morning. How we doing today?
Morning, guys.
You shouldn't be late, Tyler. You shouldn't be tired either, Jagoff.
Yinzer, just because you run on anger and beer, it doesn't mean the rest of us do.
Cat,
Sorry about that, Tyler. I swear, next time. Sorry about that. I'll try to calm him down, but he's been raging about this ever since he was supposed. He was wanting you to be here last night, but you ended up being late. That's why we're doing this now.
You know, that's all right.
Shame him, everyone. Shame him.
Shame.
Anyway, all right. How about them Colorado Rockies in case to become the worst MLB team in IPL history? What's your guys' opinion on that?
Did they fire their manager?
They not as far as I'm aware.
See,
look. Go ahead, Kat. Continue.
I feel like the Rockies. I feel like the Rockies don't know what to do next. Like, they're so bad, they don't know where to start, kind of thing.
Was it they just skipped the whole entire 2024 a White Sox team?
Right. I don't know.
You want to know what the funny part is? They might be the worst team in baseball, but yet they have more fans in attendance than all of 2024 for Chicago.
And listen. And the worst part about it is, as I said, Kat, the Rockies don't know what to do. I mean, that's been that way since their expansion. All right, since they first became a franchise, they're the most ineffective, unsuccessful franchise in MLB history. Now, the only reason why I think they are a relevant franchise is because Coors Field is an absolute dinger fest when you go to home run derbies. Period. The Colorado Rockies. Hey, can I speak?
Yes.
The Colorado Rockies have not built a successful franchise at all. The fans love them, yes, but it's like the ownership wants to use them for a money laundering scheme. That's how I feel. Not, this is not fact, but it's how I feel. They just want to use the Colorado Rockies as a tax write-off and free weed. They want, they don't produce anything good as far as on-the-field product. All their star players fuck off somewhere else. The only one that didn't was Larry Walker, and they wasted his career. It's like, what do you do? What do you do if you are a player and you get an opportunity to get called up? You're in Colorado. You feel,
Yeah.
I don't know who runs the worst franchise here, the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Colorado Rockies, because it's clear to me that you're just a prospect farm and you're only here for about a couple years. Well, and if you start getting good, we'll trade you for more prospects. It's perpetual tire spinning, and it's pathetic. The Colorado Rockies need to be contracted. I swear. Take the White Sox and the Rockies, combine them together into a shit blender, and contract them. Period.
Well, and they've been around since '93.
Yeah,
and have only made the playoffs once.
And one pennant. One pennant.
One? Okay. I thought it was
in
two.
33 years.
Pathetic.
Their win-loss isn't terrible. It's a 459.
It's not bad.
But that's over 33 years.
Right.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to do the money laundering sentence, but it's pretty bad. Like it's very bad. There's only a handful of times they've gone over 500. And gosh, the past 5 years, that
2021, I believe.
2021 they were at a 466, but every other year has been under 400. The past 5 years. Like that
Sad.
that is beyond concerning.
hmm Now, can I speak real quick on this?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, they came out in '93. The original, I think it was Bud that actually initially wanted they wanted to expand into upper Midwest or upper Midwest area. They wanted a
Mhm.
franchise in Denver, just like NFL had the Broncos. They wanted that area because it's actually a pretty good. The team was good. It's actually a very good market. Same with Salt Lake City, having the fans in the upper Midwest, so they don't have to like choose between a California team or a Washington team, and they can have their own team, especially with Colorado being the way it is.
Right.
But but the manager, I think, have they had how many general managers have they? I haven't really looked at that.
I don't know about that one. Um I was trying to I was actually trying to see that, and I don't know where to look for that.
And I was actually going to feed on to what Cobra said about the ownership. The Colorado Rockies make John Fisher look good, and that is saying something.
Yes.
John Fisher, of all people. And I'm sorry, Oakland fans, but
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
praising that man, but he's a he's done better with the Athletics, even with screwing his fans over, than Colorado's done with their
Yeah.
entire 33 years history.
The
Okay,
Colorado
so
Rockies, I hate to say it, the Colorado Rockies would do better with Jeffrey fucking Loria as their
Oh
owner.
God! Oh God!
okay, so hang on. I found their managers. We had Don Baylor, Jim Leyland for a year, Buddy Bell, Clint Hurdle, Jim Tracy, Walt Weiss, and Bud Black, and this year they have Warren Schaefer.
One of the names I could tell you, I've never heard of.
Bud Black, back then was a good manager, but
And
you
they were
know,
still at a 450
yeah,
for the 7 years, 8, I can't tell. It says 2017 to 2025, and then Warren Schaefer took over in 2025. So, I mean, again, so much of a team's success or failure goes to what's the front office doing. And it seems like their front office doesn't know what to do.
that sounds about right.
So
I actually didn't catch this. I don't know if we actually even covered this, but they fired Bud Black like like a week and a half ago.
okay, see, that wasn't even on my radar because it's the Rockies. Sorry.
I agree. Same here.
Sorry, Rockies fans.
Anyway, sorry,
When
Joey, but we have
when Commissioner Overstreet gets in here, please apologize to him.
Right?
anyway.
Right.
We got to move. We have a little bit constricted of time, so we got to move on. Now, this has been brewing social media since last night. Mets versus Dodgers. Max Muncy was called for a controversial obstruction call late in the game last night. causing the Mets to score. What's your
Twice.
guys' thoughts? Twice? Oh, it was twice. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, what's your guys' opinion on that?
I think that we can't call interference on where a player is standing on the field. I think that's one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard of. My little league players know how to watch their pitcher, regardless of whether or not someone is playing their position.
Right.
Like, this is probably the most ridiculous interference call I've ever seen. He wasn't stopping him from advancing or taking a lead. He wasn't stopping him from scoring even. Um he just walked up to the grass. Like, if you can't rely on your third base coach, if you can't rely on, cuz there were also other runners on the field. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to tell me that major league players don't coordinate with each other when they're on the field? Again, my little league players do that. My little league players talk to each other and, like, they know what's going on. So you're
Mm-hmm.
telling me that major league baseball players who get paid millions of dollars can't figure out what's happening on the field between three of them? Come on now.
Cobra,
Uh,
what's your opinion on this?
no, absolutely agree with Kat on this. This is T bullshit. You're telling
Mm-hmm.
me that major league ball players can't use hand signs, that they can't use they literally can't use signals to let the players know, hey, this is where we're gonna be going. This is where I need you here. I need you here. I need you here. It's not like you can't communicate, guys. Come on. Is this bush league shit?
And you
You know,
literally have a coach standing next to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the coach can't communicate? The absolute fuck. You
I
know,
think I think that kind of an interference call opens up a can of worms that will spread like wildfire. And
Mm-hmm.
so many managers are going to start going, "Oh, that's interference. That's interference." And that is the kind of bullshit that ruins the game of baseball.
100%.
Also, with
And
100%.
the
then,
pitch clock, like with the pitch clock, it's not like the pitchers have unlimited time to stand there and bullshit and do crap to the ball anymore. That runner on third should have known by then, because he was up to bat and he was on first, second, and then third base. You're telling me you can't read a pitcher in all of those pitches? No, you shouldn't be playing Major League Baseball if that's the case.
now, now, hold on. I agree with you guys, but I don't think it was necessarily the players that called interference. I think the umpire thought, I think what umpire was assuming that he was blocking vision and called it. I think it's a bullshit call. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I can 100% agree with you, but I think the umpire saw it as Max Muncy trying to block the thing. I can see where he's coming from, but it's just no.
No.
You,
Well, and like, I'm not saying it was a player that called it, but what I am saying is, like, why are we making these calls when these are major league baseball players? That's more that's
that
more
that
my line of thought.
and now I was just now before we move on to the next thing, I was actually just rereading the rule of interference. If you don't, do you guys mind if I read it? But it's literally like a couple lines right here.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the obstruction rule in MLB. Obstruction describes an act by a fielder who is not in possession of the ball or the fielding, that impedes the base runner's progress, which he wasn't. If the play is being made on the obstructed base runner, the ball is ruled dead, and the umpire can place all runners on the base he determines they would have reached without obstructing. The ball wasn't even in play yet when they called it.
Right. Right. So, like, quite frankly, like, this is the kind of thing that I wish Major League Baseball would fine umpires for. That might sound a little harsh, but also like this shit to bed before it becomes, another cancer in the
It's
game of baseball.
unfortunately it's the umpires fall under the same category as NFL refs when they were openly rigging the game for famous fuckboy of Roger Goodell, Patrick Mahomes. They were doing that shit. They're doing the same shit here. Unfortunately, and this is getting way too out of hand. And
Yeah.
this is I obviously you can tell I'm getting excited for football. But at the same time, this is getting way out of hand. The umpires obviously are screwing the game up for future generations.
Exactly.
They're trying to make themselves the stars of the show. Let's call a spade here. They're trying to make themselves the star of the show.
Angel Hernandez.
It
Yep.
everyone remembers it. No one remembers a plain umpire, but everyone remembers Angel Hernandez.
Right. Now there is an umpire who has been close to or has had perfect games called. And I wish I could find the
Narrow it.
Facebook post because he's incredible. He has such a good eye for the strike zone that the whatever it is, the sensor that reads the balls and the strikes, he is like one pitch from a perfect game. Totally ridiculous. In a good way. In a good way.
And the guy's name's Mark Ripperger, or however you want to say it, and he did it last year. It was like, I believe it was a really, that was incredible by him. When we watched that, I'm like, wow. We need more umpires like that. Not just
Yes.
behind the plate, first
Oh,
base, or
Mark Ripperger.
infield. Yeah, Mark
Mark
Ripperger.
Ripperger. Nick Lintz?
Yep.
Um, hmm. But there are only like a handful of umpires that really get celebrated for how they call a game, and I honestly think if we're gonna, you know, rotisserie style Angel Hernandez, we need to really boost up the umpires that do a good job.
There's been two ever.
Wow, rotisserie style. I never thought I'd hear that when it comes to Angel Hernandez. Like,
Sorry. But that's funny. Anyway, there's only been two umpires that have called perfect games. One was Mark Ripperger, and the other one was Pat Hoberg in the 2022 World Series.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff we need. It really is.
Anyway,
Can we address the other elephant in the room on my favorite team?
all right. Well,
yeah.
we can briefly discuss it before getting on to a disturbing topic. Anyway, we're going to move on to real quick to the Orioles firing Brandon Hyde. Kat, go ahead. It is your team.
I am very torn on this. Let me just start with that. Brandon Hyde was manager of the year in 2023. He took this team to some really big heights in a very short period of time. he has been very good for this team. This year, we have probably as many injuries as we've ever had. And we've had to really dip into our B string players. And the front office didn't do much by way of looking for pitchers. Now, I will also say there were not a lot of pitchers to be had. There just weren't. I feel like a lot of teams wanted to get rid of their mediocre pitchers, and a lot of teams kept their aces. I just don't feel like there were a lot of pitchers to go get. We have some crazy hitters in our roster right now that are not performing. That's really been the issue this year. We've got injuries and we've got a lot of guys who are underperforming. Now, do I think Brandon Hyde can control when the players are underperforming? No. We can't control what other people do. We can only control ourselves. But also, do I think Mike Elias was finding a scapegoat? Yeah, a little bit. He wanted to CYA for himself. I don't think the front office did everything they could to support the team this year. And I think Brandon Hyde is better at his job than people were giving him credit for. But when you don't have the players now, and then again, there are people that were like, he can't stick with a lineup. He puts guys in positions that they're not used to being in, blah, 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 blah. But again, my little league players can go from playing right field to catcher to second base to third base to left field. These are Major League Baseball players. Like, they all know the game. They all know what they're doing out there. So I think the Orioles as a whole need to figure out who are we going to keep for next year and who are we going to go after when they become available.
Baseball, simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Right.
Now, Cobra, do you have any info on it? Because I really didn't really follow it. Do you have any input on that?
Unfortunately, I do not. I don't.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything
No,
else, Cap?
that was my little soapbox. I love my Orioles. Everybody knows that. Am I disappointed in this season after all the success we've had recently? Yes, of course I am. But the thing about the Orioles for me is we don't go out to buy wins. We're not the Dodgers, we're not the Yankees. Sorry, Tyler. We're not the Mets. We're the Orioles, and I'd rather stay true to the team's dynamic and what the Orioles organization as a whole stands for. Now that doesn't mean that I want us to be in last place every year, obviously, but I also don't want us to turn into something that we're not.
Yeah, you don't
So,
want to turn into plumbers and Make-A-Wish kids.
Last thing before we move on to the standings and games of the week. This one's actually a pretty disturbing one. The safety concerns of MLB players by controversial fans. Now this is actually pretty disturbing. Cobra, I want you to go first on your thoughts about it because it's very disturbing of what fans are doing to MLB players.
oh dear.
Let me bring up this story.
there are fans, like I'm an Orioles fan. And then there are insane people who make a sport or a team their whole personality, and when the team is failing, they feel like they are failures at life because they picked the wrong team, so to speak. And I feel like those people need mental health evaluations.
I understand. I will say this openly. We on this panel, we are fans of baseball. We are fans of sports, but
For
we
sure.
never get so foamy in the mouth. Basically so rabid that we wish death upon any opposing player or opposing team, unless your name is Tom Brady, when you are playing. But and I mean, primarily I didn't wish death on you, Tom Brady. I just wished your legs would actually break. Which I currently wish that on Patrick Mahomes. Anywho, but and but I do say that death threats are a bridge too far when it comes to the fan.
Way too far.
Fan apathy. Fan apathy should only be reserved whenever politicians come to the game. We're looking right at you, Ted Cruz. But fan apathy should be reserved for freaking politicians. Because seriously, those motherfuckers ruin everything. And that's why they get into politics anyway, to ruin our lives. But sorry to get political on that, but yeah, like fans, you need to calm yourselves down. You're gonna ruin the sport for the rest of us to the point where we're not even gonna be allowed. We can't go to sporting events without looking behind a fenced off area.
Right. Right.
And then I'm not just talking about Major League. They would do it to the minor leagues. They'd do it to the Little League. Where you go to bring your kid to the game, and guess what? Oh, there's a cop there. He's got the metal detector wand. If you brought snacks to the game. Your backpack, the bag that you brought isn't clear.
Right.
Seriously. And Kat, I know that's getting a little personal on you, Kat, because you have little leaguers. You have little ones that actually actively are little leaguers.
Yeah. And honestly, the way that Major League Baseball has changed over the years really made me not want to watch Major League Baseball with my kids. So like they don't have a favorite baseball player because there hasn't really been a player that I feel like I want my kids emanating. I mean, they know more about the banana ball players than they know about the MLB players.
And and I will say about this fan of bananas, my dad actually had fun at that game. My dad actively had fun.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
they sold out an 81,000 seat stadium.
He believed that. He actively could not believe that. That it was sold out.
The really cool thing about the Savannah Bananas is that they don't take themselves seriously. Whereas Major League Baseball players think that they are the only serious way to play baseball. And again, that also goes back to the front office. That also goes back to who the owners are. It goes back to, why do these owners have a baseball team?
Yeah.
And for some of them, it's a hobby. Like horse racing got too expensive, so they went to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's I don't think that's how baseball should be. Like, it
No.
has turned, so much has turned into a business where it's very impersonal, it's cold, and it's very transactionary. And I don't think that that's how baseball should be at all.
No.
Like, I don't think any sport is supposed to be transactionary like that. There's supposed to be a spirit of goodwill. There's supposed to be, you cheer on your team. And yeah, sure, you have rivals. Like, even my oldest, my daughter who plays little league, there are pitchers that she doesn't like to face, and she got a home run off of one of them.
Gone forever, Aaron Hernandez. Sorry, to every home
We're gonna
run,
get
you gotta
canceled
have
because
the
of you.
obligatory gone forever, Aaron Hernandez.
Right? But I feel like baseball needs to come back a little bit. Um, I don't see that happening either because of
The
uh
money.
the money. So
You wanna add something?
anyway, we went off on a whole tangent there. I am so sorry.
We got like a couple more. We're gonna spend a couple more minutes. But I want to go off on a little tangent, and then we'll get into the thing. Now, my
Go
personal
ahead.
opinion, sports betting has been around forever. You can never not have sports, but once it became more accessible and more legal in more states, and you only have to be 18 to sports bet. It's not a casino, so that gives the access to more people to bet and use their money wisely. I personally think this sports betting has ruined not only just MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, you name it. It ruined all the sports. The
It has.
only sports betting the only sports betting I think makes sense would only make sense because that's how it's always done. Is horse racing.
Right.
Is what?
It's horse racing.
Yeah.
But I think
Uh,
sports betting. But like I said, but this is coming from all of us. Now, to our listeners, we do not condone death threats. We do not condone that kind of behavior.
Absolutely
Please
not.
respect. Please respect the game. Even Yinzer doesn't even go that far. You may be an angry old man, but he doesn't even
not
condone.
old. How dare you say that? I'm not old. Ah!
Anyway, Yinzer, but I was telling you that you would agree with us that death threats are bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though I hate those damn rat birds, there's death on the motherfucker. Don't
Anyway,
do that, you fucking
See,
idiot.
even Yinzer has some class. Well done, Yinzer.
the thing
Thanks, rat
is like
bird.
Go back where you
this.
belong now.
Now, this
Fuck.
we will. I talk. All of us want to say one thing before we move on to our standings. Be nice to people. Treat people how you want to be. Don't act like idiots. Just enjoy the
Don't
game.
be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Amen.
All right, let's move on to the standings because we're getting caught in short on time. All right, Cat and Cobra, then me. All
Sweet.
right, Cat, you got the AL East.
All right, so the AL East is being led by the Yankees. They're at a very even 30-20 with a 600 win percentage. They are 7-3 of their last 10. They just lost to the Colorado Rockies last night. Boston, Boston is at 26-26 at 500. They are 5 games back from the Yankees. That is such a big second place gap right there. It's the biggest in all of baseball currently, and they are 4-6 in their last 10. Toronto's at 25-25. Again, we got a 500, 5 games back, statistically speaking, and they're 500 of their last 10. They're staying even, Steven. Tampa Bay's at 24-26 with a 480 win percentage, and they are 6-4 of their last 10. Baltimore, my lovely Baltimore, is 16-33 with a 327 win percentage. They're a lot of games back, and they are 1-9 in their last
Oh
10.
God! Anyway, Cobra, you got the Central.
All right. So, the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, 33-19, 635 win percentage.
Hey, Detroit
And
isn't as bad as the Yankees and the Dodgers. Okay, like let's just remember
no, they're
that.
not as
They're a
terrible.
smaller team.
Um, and nipping right at their heels, the Cleveland Guardians of the Galaxy, 28-22, 560 win percentage, and they're only 4 games back. They are 5 of the last 10, so pretty even on that. However, the future home of Aaron Rodgers, the Minnesota Twins, are 28-22 as well with a 560 win percentage. Also 4 games back, but 8 of their last 10. They are surging hot.
They are.
Kind of on a little bit of a skid here. The Kansas City Royals, 28-24, 538 win percentage, and are 5 games back. 4 of their last 10, though. Ugh. And then finally, the previous worst team in MLB, about to break last season's record, the Chicago White Sox, 16-35, 314 win percentage, 16.5 games back, 4 of their last 10.
All right, so we got the West. Seattle Mariners are leading the West at 29-21 with a 580 win percentage. They're 7 for their last 10. And the Houston Astros are 3.5 games back at 26-25, 510 win percentage. They're 500 in their last 10. The Los Angeles Angels are 25-25, 500 win percentage. 4 games back, but they're on the surge. They're 8 for their last 10. The Rangers are 25-27, 481 win percentage. 5 games back. They're 4 for their last 10. And they actually, surprisingly, this is actually a very competitive division. And I'm still going to call them Oakland. I'm going to call them Oakland. Oakland Athletics, 22-30, 423 win percentage, 8 games back. Wow. They're 0 and 10. They're 0 for their last 10.
Wow.
They had a strong start and they decided to shit it like that. Wow.
All right. NL East, Cat.
All right, we got Philadelphia at 33-18 with a 647 win percentage. They have 9-1 for their last 10. The New York Mets are 30-21 with a 588 percentage. They're only 3 games back, and they are 4 out of their last 10. The Atlanta Braves are 24-26 with a 480 win percentage. They're 8.5 games back, and they are 500 in their last 10. The Washington Nationals are 23-28 with a 451 win percentage. They're a kind of rough 10 games back, and they are 6 of their last 10. And Miami is sitting in last in the NL East with 19-30, a 388 win percentage, and they are 13 games back with 4 out of their last 10 being wins.
Oh, you get to choose which one you want to do. Which one do you want to do?
Take the Central. Actually, no. I'm going to take the West. Because I need to talk about famous responsible gamblers, Shohei Ohtani. And the
Tyler,
Dodgers.
don't give him options.
Yep, I'm going with the Dodgers. Yeah. Yep. Led by famous responsible gambler, Shohei Ohtani. 32-19, 627 win percentage. Then, of course, the gay people! Yay, gay people! The San Francisco Giants, 30-21, 588 win percentage and 2 games back. 6 of the
Cobra
last 10.
Cobra can't do the West ever again.
Fuck you. The San Diego Padres, enemies of PETA, 28-21, a 571 win percentage, 3 games back. At their last 10. Don't do steroids, Fernando Tatis.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 26-25, 10 win percentage, 6 games back, 5 of the last 10. and more people pissed in the pool again. And of course, the Colorado Rockies. The shitty team in the MLB.
Smoking that good stuff.
9-42. 176 win percentage. 23 games back. 2 of their last 10.
And that leaves me with the Central. You got the Chicago Cubs, 31-20 with a 608 win percentage, 8 for their last 10. Cardinals are on their heels at 20.
That's gonna make Keith laugh, by the way.
I'm just trying to die laughing. I don't know about Cat.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the Cardinals are right on their heels at 28-23, 549 win percentage, 3 games back. They're 6 for their last 10. The Cincinnati Reds are 25-27, 481 win percentage, 6.5 games back. They're 500 in the last 10. The Brewers, also at 25-27, 481 percentage, 6.5 games back, are also 5 for their last 10. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, Ginter, I will beat you with this. I will beat you if you speak. The Pittsburgh Pirates, 18.
You do not talk about Stellars.
Baseball, Ginter. Baseball.
Cat, give me the high player. I'm going to take you down the street with this thing, Ginter. Anyway, 18-34, 346 win percentage, 13.5 games back, 4 for their last 10. Now, let's finish up with our games of the week. And since 3 of us, we each get to pick 2. We're gonna go with Cobra, that Cat, and me.
You know what? I'm gonna actually start with the Diamondbacks and Cardinals. They are playing at 2:15 p.m. Tonight. So that's gonna be interesting. And I have the Giants and Nationals. Just because
that's a good one.
Yep. I'm going with Giants and Nationals primarily because of Brittany.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Kat? Pick 2.
Definitely going with the Orioles, Red Sox, and hang on. I got to get back to it because I clicked on a team. Oh, I kind of want to see what the Brewers in Pittsburgh do.
I actually have 2 divisional matchups. I personally am going with Mariners and Astros and Dodgers and Mets.
Nice.
Or not divisional match. Well, divisional matchup for one, and another top clash of the top teams in the NL, Dodgers and Mets. All right, that's all we have for tonight. Our sponsor. Thank you to our sponsor tonight, Century Lick PC.
Nice.
All right, don't forget to check out our other podcasts. We have the Hard Count coming back in August. We also have Passing the Pigskin coming in August as well. We also have Biscuits and penalties for hockey. We also have Lap Down for racing, for all those racing fans.
And
we
Social
also have
Slam podcast for wrestling.
All right, guys, and always remember, play ball.
Play ball, everyone.